If you maintain integrity in your life, I think you will always maintain a sense of pride because you know you've done the right things.
This is the Basu Lifestyle Show. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel.
So you got living in search of pride or living in search of happiness. And I feel like we're especially at a point now in society where a lot of people are looking for, I want to be happy, I'm not happy. Where I feel like if especially men lived in this search of making themselves proud, I think that you would end up being, by association, a lot happier. You live for being proud. You're like, you know what? I'm going to do this workout today because I want to have a nice body. I want to feel like I accomplished my workout. I'm going to stick to my meals because I want to be proud of myself. The happiness side is, I had a long day. I'd be happier if I watched the game tonight. I'd be happier if I had that cheat meal. Happiness is short-lived. You can live in a sense of being proud of yourself if you stick to daily disciplines. So how would you characterize that? Because I heard that live for pride over live for happiness, and I was like, holy shit, that's it hit that. It was one of those things that's impactful.
Yeah, I think it definitely hits a point. I mean, first, I think we have to understand we live in a world right now where anything where you are holding yourself to a higher standard, anything where you're holding yourself accountable, it's looked at weird now. It's almost looked down upon, and I don't want to say everybody.
No, in a lot of senses it is.
I think it is.
Being in shape, it's like, what are you doing that for?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, what am I doing that for? This is my one body. I'd like to be proud of my one body.
Yeah,
but like a lot of times too, my bad to interrupt you.
No.
But like,
yeah.
this is like something that really hits. And it's like a car. Like, people will take super good care of a car. Like, you could be overweight and talk shit on somebody who works out, but, oh, look at my cars. And it's like, bro, your body is your one car.
Mm-hmm.
Your car can break down, you get a new car. Your body breaks down if you're not taking care of it. What are you gonna do?
That's it. You're absolutely right. And I think what we have to really identify is they've put a weird stigma on pride, right? In the world that we're in right now, it's a weird stigma. It's like pride and arrogance are like one and the same, and it's just not true. It's not. Pride is being proud in who you are, being proud in what you're doing, being proud in your abilities. And I think what falls under that is always like great things. My grandfather being in the military prior to passing, he spoke so high on integrity, right? If you maintain integrity in your life, I think you will always maintain a sense of pride because you know you've done the right things, right? You know you treated people, your friends, your family, the way that you're supposed to treat them.
And if you don't, you feel bad about that, and you won't make that mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be real, we're all going to do things we're not proud of.
Yeah, yes.
That's a part of growing.
Absolutely.
And like I feel like people are scared to live in a sense of, I want to make myself proud, I want to make my family proud, because they're like, well, what if I let them down? It's like, you're letting them down by not living that way.
Yeah.
If you fail at something and you get back up, or if you keep going, technically you didn't fail. Or if you said something wrong, you said something wrong. Whatever, get over it. If you're living in a sense of trying to make yourself proud and your family proud, you're never going to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Pride is not perfection at all. At all. Pride is, to me, holding yourself to a certain standard and trying to stay at that level. It's not being perfect like we talked about. You're not drinking. You have done amazing since God knows when. But when you came to my wedding, I appreciate it. You turned up for me a little bit, right? And I don't think that took away from who you are at all.
No.
If anything, the next day you were like, I'm not doing that again.
I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Why did I do this? I had fun last night.
Exactly.
It was a free bar, so, you got to drink a little bit.
You had some fun.
But I was like, you know what? This isn't really for me anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take some time and not do it. It's not like I hated myself for it.
No. But you did what you did, and what I think took you back, what allowed you to snap back into the place and get you to where you are now, is a sense of pride in yourself, right? It's just diminishing results if you continue to do what you did today in my wedding.
Yeah.
If you continued to drink that way, there was no way you were going to maintain the level of yourself that you're the most proud of.
Yeah, consistently drinking, consistently doing any type of drug, I don't care if it's cigarettes, weed, whatever, any of the other whatever drugs that you do not need to live, basically. You know what I mean? Obviously you need food, and if you have a chemical imbalance, maybe you need whatever. If you need other supplements to be happy, it's because you're not living in a sense of trying to be proud of yourself. To have to smoke weed every single morning to get through the day, you must not be proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
Why are you doing that every day? Why are you taking yourself out of this reality? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a weird way to look at it, especially in like our society. I was watching actually Narcos last night and just seeing how like our country was so ready to consume cocaine.
Yeah.
Why? Is it that many people need an escape?
Yes,
Why do you
there
need to
is.
escape your reality?
Yeah, there definitely is, and I think it's a hard job to maybe kind of dig inside, right? It's a hard job
Life's hard.
Yeah, it's hard to look inside and be like, yo, I am fucking up, or this part of my life I am not doing well in. Like, that is not easy by any means. It's a certain amount of accountability that's involved in that. But taking accountability, anybody can take accountability for the class project when you got 100. But what about when you fucked up and you failed? Like, are you taking accountability for that, or are you deflecting and you putting that on? That was your partner, that was your friend, that was your mom and your dad. They messed me up, and that's why I'm failing. Like, it is a certain amount of accountability that comes with that. But on the back end, doing the hard work, I think anything difficult that you're doing to better yourself is what allows you to build pride. That's what allows you to build confidence. I think that's what makes you do the right things, right? And hold yourself accountable when you're doing the wrong things. I think happiness, and I think you hit that at one point in time, is so temporary.
Happiness is short-lived.
It is.
It is that sniff off the table. It is that drink. It is that slice of pizza. And if you have a goal set and you're doing one of those things and it's not included in your goal and you did it for the happiness, right after you are not going to be happy. So you did it for the happiness, knowing that you weren't going to be happy after. If you didn't make that decision because you wanted to make yourself proud, I mean, you make one better decision, the next day's even better, and it's just like, if you live that way, you can't lose.
Yeah. But people have to recognize you have to find what that is for yourself.
For you.
We're talking about things that have directly impacted us and what we're trying to do to become better. And we're using these examples for our audience, right? People have to understand, look, like we said, you had a drink in my wedding. You know, I had some drinks in my wedding. We're not saying live this life of just despair and negativity and depression. No, what we're actually saying is if you do some of the difficult things and you build this level of confidence in yourself because you have done those difficult things, life is actually so much better.
Try not to
It's
do it
more
for
fun.
90 days. If you've been since you were 16, 17, you've drank at social events, which most of us do. We're not going to bullshit you. If you've done that, so you're trying something different. It's scary. Stepping out of your comfort zone. That's a great thing. So for 90 days, don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you think I'm an asshole and that was stupid and it wasn't a good idea, then don't do it after that.
Don't do it.
But try it
Yeah.
for 90 days. See what happens. Because making those decisions, you're going to see, like being around highly intoxicated people after not drinking, you're like, why did I, number one, come to this bar? Did I act that way when I was drinking? Why do I want to feel like this tomorrow? It's just, there's a lot of bad decisions that go along with it for temporary happiness, and a lot of it is escaping reality.
Yeah.
Like, you're drinking, you're poisoning yourself, and you're also escaping reality. Like, your brain is becoming poisoned, which is making you have an altered state.
Absolutely.
Why do you want to be in an altered, like, question yourself of why do I want to drink and be in an altered state? What's the issue?
And maybe what people don't fully understand is, you know, we're here on this podcast promoting health and fitness and better living. And when we say that to say, like, when we hit the gym on good days and bad days. And that was our escape, right? It didn't take drugs. It didn't do anything that was diminishing our health. It made us actually better. We found ways to take our negative energy, whatever we were feeling those days, that week, that year, and we put it into a spot that gave us great results and a great return.
Dude, I broke my back a couple months ago. Herniated disc. I went to the gym at least 4 days a week. maybe I was just stretching and doing some like pull-ups and hanging to release my spine. I was going because I'm someone who I identify as someone who goes to the gym. This helps me release. Like, it doesn't have to be your release. Maybe yours is going for a walk, doing push-ups at home, but like, I identify as somebody who does this every day. No matter what happens, I'm going to do it. I took Tylenol maybe 4 or 5 days. I do not somebody who takes painkillers. At those couple of days, I needed some Tylenol. I took that. But in my head, I hated taking it because I identify as somebody who doesn't take it. So like, it's just, I'm proud of myself by not doing those things.
Absolutely.
And that's perfectly fine. Like, everybody can live their own thing, but like, when you have these codes and things you live by, it's easier to stick on course. I could have allowed that broken back to allow me to not work out for 6 months because my doctor said I'm better off if I just lay around and let it heal. I gotta let myself heal. I didn't do that because I don't identify as that. You wouldn't even notice that I haven't worked out because people in the gym that I saw were like, wait, I've still seen you. I thought you, because I was doing physical therapy with them. I'm like, yeah, I broke my back. I'm still doing this, and this to stay in shape. They would be like, oh, I wouldn't even have known. I'm like, well, I'm not going to let you know. I'm going to have, it's just like anybody else. If you have a bad day, still go through the motions of doing everything you said you're going to do. Even if it's just reading. Like, we both have been, you've always been a good reader. Me, I needed to develop that habit of reading. But now, if I don't read at least 10 pages a day, I feel like I failed the day. I'm not proud of myself because I didn't hit one of my standards.
Yeah, man.
Like, set my standards.
You absolutely do that. And with that, it was difficult, but you felt better about it. You know, I had a very similar injury, and it was the same thing, man. It would have been easy to pop all those painkillers. And I mean, you know, getting up out of a chair, out the car, is hard for those.
Standing up hurts.
Yeah, you herniate your disc, and it's like life is hard, and it's very, very easy to do the simple things. And would that have made you maybe feel a sense of relief or some type of temporary joy because happiness? I think absolutely. But in the long term, right now, here we are sitting, and you feel great about yourself. You're recovered. You kept working out. You kept doing all the right things. I mean, yeah, I think that's what it's about. So I think it's just recognizing, like, you know, we're not saying having pride in yourself isn't happiness. We're not saying it's this matter of being mad all the time.
You will, by extension, be happy at the end of the day if you made decisions to make yourself proud.
Absolutely.
You will be happier at the end of the day. You may get more instant happiness eating the slice of pizza with your coworkers or whatever. You will not be proud of yourself at the end of the day. Yeah. And when you go to sleep, if you have the goal of not eating that, you will be sad.
I mean, so that was it.
Yeah, so think about it this way. Happy because you ate the pizza, then sad. Now you're on a roller coaster.
Yep.
Now, if I just am looking for proud, I'm this way. I may go a tiny bit down when I turn the pizza down. But once they finish eating it and you eat that healthy meal, you're actually higher than you even were.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look at it that way. Like, in that one instant of watching them eat that and you stuck to your meal, it is awful. I know. It's like when you watch someone else eat cake in front of you. You're like that 5-year-old again. I want some goddamn cake.
Yeah.
But once that cake is off the table, right? Once that cake is off the table, though, and you're like, wait, I was the guy who didn't eat the cake. Mm-hmm. You went from this level of pride to this level of pride. You're actually probably raised your happiness. You never went down. Mm-hmm. Stop living on a roller coaster.
And once again, just like we said, you do it once. You put that step in. I think Atomic Habits, I really actually enjoyed that book. And it was one of the first books that really solidified the mindset of every day, everything that you choose is like an investment in the person that you want to be. If you want to be the type of person that reads a book, I'm not saying you got to finish the book, but you read a page. Yep. And that's one kind of penny dropped in the bank of I'm the type of person that reads a book. All right. If you want to become a runner, you don't run 5 miles that day, but maybe you go for a little bit of a jog, and that just drops a penny in there, a little coin in there of being the person that runs. And that is absolutely a level of pride. The temporary happiness comes in being, I want to be a runner, but I'm not going to run.
Yeah.
There was a kid, he was prepping for the academy, and you know, the physical is at 1.5 miles, and he did it, but then prepping for the actual academy, he drops down and he starts running a mile. And I go, bro, what are you running?
More.
What are you running a mile for? You are going to the academy for 6 months. You're running. If it's one thing you're going to be doing every day, it's running.
Miles.
And he goes, oh man, I don't want to get shin splints and all this stuff. And all he was doing was just constantly dropping a penny in the bank of fear, in the bank of I'm not going to properly prepare myself. I'm just going to do this baseline because I'm comfortable. I'm happy right here in a mile. And then he goes to the academy, and God bless him. Hopefully he's doing all right, because I don't want anybody to not lose their job. But what I am saying is that's not how you prepare. That's not taking pride in yourself at all. That is picking the easy route of temporary joy and happiness. And all it does, we say it all the time, is set you up to be in a position of extreme difficulty.
Or extreme comfort and no change.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the way you want to live, where every year you're worse than you were the year before, you're doing the same exact job at the same exact desk with the same exact everything, fine.
Yeah.
Most of us aren't looking for that. We're looking to grow. We're looking to become better. We're looking to enjoy this experience of life. Like, you only get one experience.
And that's so crazy that you said that, because immediately that's where I went. My head goes there, because I think there's 100% probability we're leaving this earth one day.
Yeah.
100%. But do you want to go out on it in terms of I've kept myself healthy and I've done the right things and I've put myself in a position to have a good life? Or we have the stats and the facts. You can Google it. You eat the food that you're not supposed to eat. You smoke the stuff you're not supposed to smoke and drink the drinks you're not supposed to drink. You're setting yourself up for an ending that is going to be hard. I mean, the amount of people getting cancers now and all this other stuff that is directly related to the food that they put in.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, there's a chance that all of us develop some type of disease, cancer, all that, but you are stacking the cards against you by eating the shitty foods, by not exercising.
Exactly.
You're stacking the cards against you.
Mm-hmm.
If I end up developing something fucked up, I'm going to be like, dude, I did everything right. And I still got this? I'm going to be a little pissed. But, like, I'm proud of the decisions I've made, that it's like, if you're 50 pounds overweight, you've eaten like shit, you drank Coca-Cola every single day, and you develop some form of cancer, you're going to be like, why did I do that to myself? Yeah. Now you have to live with the regret of what you did for all those years, where me, it's like, I did everything I fucking could. But I probably would have gotten it earlier if I didn't do those things.
Absolutely. And like we talked about before, putting yourself in a position to fight, man. To put yourself, people don't talk about it enough, that there are people that do the right things that unfortunately get sick. And there's a large chance some of those people actually recover from it. And there are people I've talked to who have a parent, a father, who might have been diagnosed with something, but he was a gym rat, found out in the later stages and beat it. And they've said to him directly, man, if you weren't hitting the gym and doing the things you were doing, you would not have survived this.
Yeah, living in the sense, because like when you get hit with that diagnosis or when you get hit with that injury, you're going to be down for a little bit. But like if you're searching to make yourself proud and you have those habits of doing the right things, everything's going to get better.
Absolutely.
Like, but if you go for that instant happiness gratification over and over and over again, it's going to be harder to get out of those ruts.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Because life is fucking tough. Like, I don't know, like, when we were fucking 15, 16, 17, man, we thought our parents had it figured out. Yeah. We thought the dudes that we talked to in the gym in their 20s and 30s, they had life figured out. We are all just out here winging it. We're all just out here making the best decisions today to become better tomorrow. And at the end of the day, all you're kind of, in a really weird way, all you're doing is you're getting married, you're having kids, you're furthering on your ancestral generations. You know what I mean? Like, in a weird way, that's what you're doing.
It's pretty primal.
You know what I mean? In a very, that was a good way to say it. In a very primal way, would your ancestors be proud of how you're living today because they sacrificed? Mm-hmm. We're living in the best times possible. Our kids are going to live in, hopefully, an even better time. Like, think about technology. Think about air conditioning. All these things that, like, our ancestors didn't have to go through. They lived this way to get us to this point. Are you going to further your name?
Yeah.
Like, think about it like that if you have to.
Yep. I mean, and so that's interesting that you say it like that because, you know, when you look at the idea, the pride versus happiness, right? To build the pride, to not fall into the trap of temporary happiness, you absolutely have to have a why. You've got to. And so I'm gonna put the ball in your court, man. A few years ago, you started your journey with this. Like, how did you develop your why?
I mean, I've always wanted to be in shape. I've always wanted to be healthy. We started working out young. I always had a lot of things I wanted to accomplish. Didn't know how the hell I was going to do it. I think I do 75 hard first time. At that time, we're still drinking a lot. Me and Megan are new to our relationship, probably still. And I'm looking for a challenge. I need something to make life a little different. I started doing this challenge, 75 hard, drink a gallon of water, 1 outdoor workout, 1 indoor workout, read 10 pages, no alcohol, stick to a diet. All of those things I've never really consistently done. We've always worked out.
A little bit. We've done a little bit of all of those things.
So first time I do that, man, I do it straight through. I said I was going to do this. I do it. Now I'll fail every now and then because like I know I can, and like it kind of just keeps me, like I almost live by it on a daily basis. But first time through it, 5 days in, I have a dream that I drink alcohol and fail.
Yeah,
like,
I remember you called me that. Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, we weren't alcoholics ever. Like I never needed a drink. We just drank socially. We drank to go out. We drank because it was Thursday. Like whatever. That hits me weird. I start developing this habit of reading. I'm hitting all my meals. I never hit all my meals, ever. We always ate whatever. So now I'm hitting all my meals, and by 30 days in, you're just like, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
You become a different person. You see life differently. And after I finished that, around that time too, is when I already developed a little bit of a reading habit in the fire department in terms of taking a promotional test. So at that time, I'm also going through the transition of becoming fireman to captain. And I'm just seeing that everything that I'm doing is making my life better. I'm doing things people aren't doing.
Yeah.
Like in terms of all the habits, the workouts, the this, that, the other. You're stepping outside the box. You're making people look at you in a different light. And just living that way, it was like, wait, I can just keep progressing and getting better. At 26, 27, I was in the best shape of my life. I was just at a different point where it was like, my why now became, why can't I become better tomorrow than I was yesterday?
Yeah.
Then my relationship got better because I was more confident in me. It leads me to being like, well, how can I help other people do that? It leads me and Megan to developing Basu. It was like, I want to live by something. I want to live by building a superior version of myself. It's my lifestyle. And now it's just promoting it. And now I have to live by that.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I wear the shirts every day. I believe in it. This is how I live. This is how I want to raise our
You're
kids.
invested in it, man.
But this is my identity is now I live by this. For better or for worse, I'm going to become the best version of me. And that became kind of the why.
Yeah. I remember, you started and you got me on that branch. And although I love the foundation, I've never completed all 75. The foundational piece I've always thought was amazing. But one thing I always think is crazy is when we talk about the why and we talk about that journey, and the first thing you notice, and I think anybody that gets into this fitness, gets into building a better version of themselves and building more pride in becoming who they are, is you step out the norm. And all of a sudden you're most likely no longer like the crowd you're around, right? It's just not a lot of people that are consistently doing the right things. And, we kind of glazed over a little bit, but when you first started reading and stuff, I remember we were talking and people were kind of hating.
Dude,
it was all of a sudden, why is he over there?
I remember, so the test passed, the results didn't come out. I had the habit of reading, so I'm going to keep reading. I had my book, and I was at a different firehouse. I was at headquarters that day. And I was reading one day. We get a call. I come back. Somebody wrote on my, just script that I took notes on, my name's Steve, and I'm studying for the next captain's test. What?
Yeah.
Why are you worried about
what they're mocking you, though.
Yeah, you're mocking me. Then
for reading.
Yeah, for reading and bettering myself. But, then the results come out. I'm number, I think, 4 on the list. Get promoted. The person probably still hasn't gotten promoted or opened a book. And it's I remember feeling that what?
Yep.
You're mad at somebody for bettering themselves while you're sitting around doing nothing. People will try and belittle you for doing what they're not willing to do.
Yep.
And I think that is probably one of the biggest things that I want to instill in my kids is people are going to, like I said, belittle you when you're doing more than them because they don't know what else to do. They know they're not going to do it. They know they're not doing that. And it's I'd rather make a joke or talk shit than be hey, why are you doing that? How do you do that? How did you develop that habit?
Yeah.
Because the people who come to you and say that, you're oh, well, blah, 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 and they're,
you're excited. You want to share those. You want to share those secrets. You're not You're not trying to what you call it, gatekeeper, whatever. You're excited to share that knowledge.
Now, I mean, so how did you get to your reason of what is your why?
I mean, I think it's crazy. I you know, as soon as you start talking about the book thing and people trying to mock you, right? It brought me way back, and I'm sure you remember 8th grade.
Bro, I was gonna say you've been a reader forever.
Man, but what was the first thing that they tried to, you know, you're being white, or, you know, you're a nerd, you're this, you're that, which was crazy because I played every sport. I did very well. I hit the gym, and yet somehow, you know, speaking the way I was speaking and reading the way I was and studying the way I was, and I still wasn't a crazy great scholar, but because I did some of these things that they didn't, you know, I was immediately looked at as different. And at first you get mad. Had some of my first couple fights because of that. But then, like you said, you start to kind of build pride in yourself. You start to realize actually that when you start going the other way, like the closer you are to getting like them, you're like, I'm good. I actually don't want to be like y'all. I've built a zone over here.
How many people are really happy? Like, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're probably not doing the right thing.
No, I believe that. And that goes for everything, man. You know, one part I love is that as we've built the relationships with our wives that we've eliminated a lot. Man, we both work in a field of what we would deem in this society alpha males. And we could very much be at the bars every night, doing the things that society deems as alpha. We could be doing that every night. But we come home, we communicate with our spouses, we built up a home with our spouses, our partners, and now we're building families, and it's like that is what we deem important to us, and we take pride in that. Happiness would be going there.
And like, it's crazy because a lot of the guys who keep going there, you end up losing your wife or having a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And like the other guy, if he finds a girl after that, or if he gets better with his wife or moves on or whatever, he's going to go hang out with her over you. And you just lost your person who married you for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose them to hang out with this dude at the bar.
Absolutely, man.
Like, it took a lot. Like, I feel like I had some struggles during some parts of my relationship, but like, it hit a point where I was like, this person's all in on me. Let's go all in together. Let's see what we can build together. And then when you have that type of bond and relationship, and you're just like, wait, why would I even think about doing anything stupid or just lying to her or anything under the sun? That's the person who has your back.
Yeah.
That is probably, there are few people who have your back in life. You have your family.
Say it
like,
again.
You have your parents.
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like you have your parents, your siblings, and maybe, like, you are probably one of the few people who I would say I know has my back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like, outside of that, who else is going to have your back? Your partner. Your partner is the person who has your back. If
Absolutely.
they are not somebody who has your back, that is not your partner. That is not the person you should be with.
Yep.
You're going to spend, like, I spend a lot more time, obviously, with my partner than I do with you now. Me and Megan spend a lot of time together. Like, how is that person not your number one person?
Absolutely. And like you said, though, you know, recognizing that.
It takes time.
It takes time. Every day that you put towards investing into your goals. And that's meaning taking the time out of your day and whatever it is and writing down what those goals need to be, because everybody's is different, right? We all are on a different journey and a different path, but finding what's important to you and recognizing that today what you do towards that goal is crazy important. It's important because there's something that if you were to try to achieve that goal, that you're probably going to fail today, but you're going to learn something that you're going to have to instill tomorrow. The longer that you put off that day one in building that discipline, that accountability, all of that, which eventually equates to that pride that you have in yourself because you continue to live at a high standard, you know, the longer you put that off, man, you're just screwing yourself up. I fully believe that.
Yeah, we got to get back to your why. I kind of stole you off.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, my goodness. So, you know, I speak about the reading and everything like that. I think my first why is crazy, and it's probably been the asthma, right? We've been athletes our whole life, or what we like to believe are athletes, right? Not Usain Bolt or anything like that, but shit, I'm out here. But I recall being out there and early stages playing football and having one of my first asthma attacks. My dad comes running on the field. He's got my inhaler, and you know, able to catch my breath. But during that time, we're running sprints, and I got to a point where I'm gonna finish this goddamn sprint, but I couldn't breathe, man, and tears are running down my eyes because I can't breathe.
Yeah.
But I'm just running. My dad, man, he comes out there, and my father's my hero, and he's always at my back. But what I do remember is during that day, I was like, I'm never going to put myself in a position where somebody else can push me further than I push myself. And that's truly how I feel. I'm not saying I'm 100% like that every day, but that's the standard I hold myself to, where if you want to go for a run, we're going to go for a run. I may not beat you, but I'm going to push myself hard because I trained for that, And then on the mental side, if I got to complete a 16, 20-hour day to put some food on the table, boy, I can do it. I've trained my mind to a point where there is nobody that can push me harder and further than I've already pushed myself. And I swear it was started that day. I was probably like 10 or 11. But I just never want to be in a position where somebody could put something on my plate that I couldn't handle, So... And it's weird because I'm not a control freak at all, man. You know me.
I was gonna say I'm kind of a control freak.
Yeah. I'm not control freak.
But
I want to be prepared. That's it. And to me, training, waking up in the morning or going there at night, whatever it is, that is my step one every day, is training. And from there, man, I can prepare for whatever else I need to in life. And of course, it's gonna be thrown at me. There's nothing you can do about that.
No, but you have the tools and the ability to get through it because
Yes.
you've already faced bullshit, you faced challenges, you faced up and down. So
Yeah.
now it's just another downtime. It's just another challenge you face. Like, for people who get all bent out of shape about every little thing, it's like, dude, you're gonna have a lot of things come at you.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Life, again, is hard.
Yep.
You're gonna have a lot of shit come at you. You're gonna have good days, bad days, really shitty days, bad news. People are gonna die. Like, you gotta learn how to fucking take it.
Yeah, yep, and give yourself, like you said it best, man. Give yourself those tools, and it's hard. It's hard building up those tools.
It is.
It is. It's a lot, and we spoke about it a little bit, but it takes a level of maybe selfishness to step away from everybody, and we do it every day, man. We love our partners. We are best friends. You are my brother. We're cool with our family. But every day, man, we step away from the people we love, and we go into a little dungeon and we work on ourselves, bro.
I'm like, you can come with me, but at some point today, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah, that's it. At some point today, whether these headphones go on or they're not on, whatever it
headphones
is.
are going in regardless,
Hey.
but you could come.
Yeah. I'm just saying you are
No,
going somewhere dark, man,
Yeah.
and that's it, bro. It's funny. I think a few years ago when you were doing 75. You were my motivation to do something that I haven't even done since, but it was amazing. I ran a race every weekend for the month of September.
I remember that.
Yeah, and every race had to be further than the previous one. And so eventually we got to the end of the month, I think, and it was a 10 or 12 mile trail run, and it was like 95 degrees, bro. And I just remember just running and just going dark. Like,
So you gotta do it sometimes.
yeah.
You're meant, especially as a man, to have a dark side. Like,
Yeah.
you are look, let's not get too ancestral, but like, you are the provider.
Mm-hmm.
You are the man of the house. Like, you have to go through, like, even if you're pushing yourself through, you're practicing for when it's needed. You're practicing while you're doing that run. Like, you find that dark place, or if anybody ever came in your house, I sure as hell know that if tonight somebody breaks into my house, Megan is not going downstairs to handle it.
Nah.
I don't want her to, obviously, but
No.
number two, I am the man of the house. I am going to handle this.
Yeah. Megan's in great shape, boy, but nah. There's
But
one
like-
protector in this
like,
house.
You are the man of the house.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to handle it.
Mhm.
Like, that's just how it is. Like, let's not pretend like that's not realistic.
Yeah.
So those practices, those workouts, those things are all preparing you for whatever adversity, whatever you face. You are prepared for it.
Absolutely. And when you bring a child into it, man, it's 10 times, 100 times more.
Not even having the kid yet, just the thought of having the child, the thought of it, you're just like, do I have enough of this? Do I have enough of that? How can I provide more?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to get more. Like, we already thought that way once we had a wife. Like, once you're in a serious relationship, I don't care if you're married, whatever, when you know you're with this person, when you know this is the person you're going to be with, your life changes, your thought process changes. Yes, number one, you should always take care of yourself first.
Mhm.
Because you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of her. But if once she becomes the second person on your thing, she wants you to handle your business.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
to think like we're together now, like I said before, let's get comfortable, let's gain whatever weight together. We're good. What is the point of your relationship?
Yeah.
The point of our relationship is to grow our family, to grow ourselves, become better, live a happy, successful life that we're proud of.
Yep.
Are you proud of the life that you're building with your partner right now? You know what I mean?
I think that's the most amazing way to put it. Because like we said, everybody's goal is going to be different, but do you like what you're doing? And the path that you're on, where are you going to be in 10 years?
The results speak for themselves.
They absolutely do, because, you know, maybe it's hard to say in the 20s. And if you are in your teenage years and 20s listening to this, maybe you don't understand it yet. But what you do in your 20s affects your 30s. What you do in your 30s affects your 40s, and so on and so forth. You know, it's an investment, man.
And two, like, not that this is going to veer off conversation, but whatever. Like, as a guy, too, or even as a girl, like, you should date, you should start to understand different, you know, like, people in terms of dating and all that, so you understand what you actually want. Because, like, I said it in my vows, actually, you don't pick your parents, you don't pick your siblings, but you pick your spouse. Like, this is the one person, you don't even pick your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids just coming out based on your sperm.
Yeah.
I didn't pick if I was having a boy or a girl. I didn't pick what they're going to look like or anything, but I chose Megan.
Yeah.
I chose this person. Now, like, you get that ability to choose that person. If you have to end up getting divorced because you chose a bad person, like, it may happen, whatever, but, like, don't get married just to get married. Get married because that person is somebody that you're going to grow with, and it's a very, very, very important choice that you're making in your life.
Absolutely. I don't think that veers away at all, because we've talked about pride in our lives. We've talked about pride in our bodies and our level of discipline. But the more confidence and the more pride you have in yourself absolutely helps you pick your partner.
Yeah.
When I was coming out of college, and even probably in college, I picked partners based on my maturity and what I deemed to be my self-worth. And it wasn't until, and I'm sure everybody has it, you get a few crazy ones,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm not nothing against this person, but I'm a little bit better than that. And I think it's absolutely important to build that up, know yourself, do the hard work, and find somebody that you're going to be able to continue doing that hard work with.
That's a big. Don't pick somebody because they're hot and they got this, that, or the other. Like, this person has to be somebody you can grow with. You have to get along with. You have to have, like, especially nowadays, you have to have similar values.
Yeah.
Like, socially, we're going like this. If you're here and she's here, what's gonna happen when you have a kid?
Yeah.
One of you is gonna have to veer.
Mm-hmm.
You even meet in the middle. Neither is gonna be happy. Like, if we had these strong values and our partner wasn't into working out, eating healthy at all,
They want to be our partner.
that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, that's because we're strong in our convictions. We are, like, just stand strong in it. But, like,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't stand strong in their convictions and are happy someone's having sex with them. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Like,
it absolutely is. And it's not to say that your partner has to match
No.
every single one of your values. They need to bring something to the table, because you pride yourself, and therefore you're going to pride what you produce, right? And I think that's understanding. Like, look, I know for sure I work out more often on a weekday than my wife does.
Yeah.
But man, the way that girl eats, the way she prides herself, the way that she does something similar to you with she doesn't do medication. She's about finding healthy alternatives, and she's constantly researching,
carries
like,
herself, yeah.
the way she carries herself and holding herself to those standards. Like, it's complementary.
Yep.
That's what, it doesn't have to be your twin. It should definitely complement, because like you said, as you build, whether you do decide to have kids or not, whatever it is, the future you're building together.
Yeah, your kids are going to be an offspring of the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
You better work together to choose the right person, because, like, that's just the biggest decision. I think that a partner is probably a bigger decision than a career, because that person can either veer you up or veer you down. I know as soon as we got together, after we kind of, like, went through everything was just, like, up since then. And it's just like, you find the right person, everything in your life is going to get better.
Absolutely,
You're both going to live a happy, better life, and you're going to be proud of your relationship and proud of the family that y'all stand behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're, like, and a lot of, like, we also put a lot behind our careers about wanting to be successful, but, like, when you die, like your most proud moments are going to be probably with your family. Like you want to accomplish things. I'm not going to allow like my family to not get in the way, but you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to allow them to be my crutch. That'll be good. Like my wife, my kids, they will not be a crutch of why I wanted to accomplish this, but whatever. But like they are going to be the number one accomplishment. Like I know that you guys are my main goal is to have a happy, successful family. But like I'm still going to go after everything I want to go after. And I think that's a balance too you have to be able to find.
I definitely agree with that. It's interesting when you put it that way because I don't think, first off, in our 20s, we thought that shit at all.
Oh, hell no.
You know, we didn't think that at all. Either. For me, I just believe that you mature. You know, when you put good things out there, good things do come back, whether people believe it or not. And for us, man, we managed to find some great partners. But also that just this whole journey, man, from... I believe, what were you, 25 when you met Meg, or 26?
26.
And I was like 24 when I met Imani. And so, you know, we were both very young. We felt old at the time,
right?
But we were super young. But we had a little bit of an idea on ourselves, and we just continued working. And each level kind of opened a new branch of ourselves.
And we tried out other relationships.
Yes, we did.
Like you got to try out relationships because you're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to learn what you do and don't want in another person. But you don't know that until you go through it.
Yeah.
If you don't go through it and you're with the same person forever, you don't know that that person was the right person. Now you're going to question that forever. Like when you go through shitty times, it helps build you into a better person.
I 100% believe that. And it's like, but your relationships, right? I feel like that can almost be symbolic for everything. Your relationship with your partners, your relationship with your friends, your relationship with things in your life, like your food and your health and your lifestyle, right? Like open those lifestyles, open those relationships up. Be willing to try some things because it's scary as shit.
Yeah, be conscious of it.
Yeah.
Like for years, I didn't think anything of food. Now I'm at a point where I like want to journal and do like certain elimination diets to try out different foods. Like your stomach may not be digesting food the way you think, but you won't know until you eliminate other things.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do.
Absolutely.
And we never even talked about it. We worked out for years and never talked about our eating.
Yeah.
We knew
absolutely.
we don't eat that great, but like we could get away with it. That was always the conversation.
Yeah.
Once you consciously start to think of food as something that has to be a skill or mastered or figured out a process of it, it becomes another thing you can focus on and, you know, take the steps on figuring out what's best for your body.
Yeah, man. I mean, think about our pregame meals, bro. I remember football. It was the pasta. It was so much pasta. It was those huge things, and it was like, eat as much pasta as you want. It's an hour and a half before you play this 45-minute game, and we went to a small school, so you're probably not getting off the field. But eat all this pasta.
Because it was cheap.
Because it was cheap. But the belief was, you know, you eat all these carbs and now you're going to have more energy. But the fact was, most of the time we were throwing that stuff up on the side, man. Or if you weren't throwing it up then, you were hurting later.
Yeah, your food source matters. And like growing up, we didn't eat all that well. I know I didn't.
No.
I don't think we both basically didn't. But there wasn't this much information on it. Like back then, it was just kind of like something you did. Where now, in your hand, you have all of the information you could possibly need. Sometimes it's overkill, but like there's so much information there. There's so much you can track that like our kids' generation is going to be able to see whole foods mostly. Like I used to eat a ton of, like we said, pasta, macaroni, all that stuff. Where now they're going to prioritize protein. I don't care what diet you are on, what eating style you want to do. If you want to live a healthy lifestyle, prioritize protein.
Yeah.
You won't go wrong.
And maybe people don't fully understand when you say that, but the body uses protein for everything.
Like when we were talking about, I don't know if it was in this video or a different video, how like your body doesn't need carbs. If you overconsume protein and your body needs carbs, your body's, I believe it's your liver, turns the protein into a carb in your blood. It turns it into the blood sugar, glucose. Like your body can do that. Like protein is essential.
Yeah.
It is absolutely essential. Protein and fat are essential.
Yep.
You need them.
And people just need to recognize too what you're going to hear here on this podcast and some of the others that speak about meals and nutrition the same way. You're not going to see that on the next commercial, and most likely your doctor's not going to talk about it that way because unfortunately, the way this stuff is viewed, it's so outdated. The information is so outdated. And they just don't care to tell you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically, they went to medical school. They know medicine. Like, you have a degree in medicine. And, like, if I am dying on a table, I am grateful that you learned medicine. I am grateful that you can save my life. Absolutely. But please, like, unless you study nutrition, unless you are living that lifestyle, do not give me nutritional advice. I think it was like last year I did that one of those physical tests, and my I didn't meet the doctor because he wasn't there that day, but I went through all of the tests and the blood tests and this, that, the other, and afterward I did a phone go over whatever because I couldn't make it there, and he's like, oh, so your cholesterol is a little high. So maybe you can lose a little, like it was like he was reading a script. Maybe if you lost a little bit of weight and just cut back on like some of the fat and red meat and just, a typical literally like what you would read off a script. And I'm like, I'm literally like 10% body fat at most ever. And I'm like, what happened was I raised my protein, I lowered my carbs, my triglycerides went from 100 and something down to 50 something. My ratio is good. I'm like, isn't like having that better than eating a shit ton of carbs and being overweight? Like, I feel like insulin sensitivity is a bigger deal maybe than having a little bit higher cholesterol. And he was like, okay, we'll move on to the next thing. Like, I'm not challenging you. You're a doctor. I get that. But, like, you're reading a script to me, man.
Absolutely. Respect the field.
Yes.
Understand that stuff is evolving. That just, honestly, I don't feel like society cares enough to really teach people
There's
about
too
it.
much money, man.
It is. It's a lot.
There's too much money in sick people. There's too much money in consuming fake food. There's no money in farming. Like, most farmers don't make good money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's no money in healthy, and then on top of that, who's going to fund? So the best thing is, who's going to fund the studies for healthy food? Who funds the studies for drugs? Oh, pharmaceutical companies. Mm-hmm. Who funded the study that said Fruit Loops are better for you than steak and eggs? I'm pretty sure it was a pharmaceutical company, or it was Fruit Loops.
One of the two, right?
But like after seeing that study, question everything.
Crazy. Absolutely. Looking into studies of my own, whenever I see Gatorade as the prime option for a sports drink, I know this article is full of shit. I just know. You can look on the back and see what's in Gatorade. It's nothing and 2,000 milligrams of sodium and a whole bunch of red dye, blue dye, 40 grams of sugar, and that's it. It's nothing else in there. It's water, salt, and sugar, and a whole bunch of dye that's been linked to a whole bunch of other issues.
And illegal in a lot of countries.
And illegal, absolutely. And but like you said, until you do the research, and if people don't believe us right now, we're not saying anything about doctors. Like we said, we respect the field. What we're saying is some of the information is outdated. And if you don't believe it, eliminate it. Yeah. And tell us. Comment below.
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel when you've eliminated this thing.
Once you start eliminating things, eating real food, you're going to feel different.
Yes.
It's not.
Yeah.
And like, this is your body. You are the one making the decision. Yes, go to doctors, seek their advice. But they're working with you. Let's say you are not, like, as a patient, for some reason they think they're talking down to you. You work for me and I'm seeking advice from you. Think of it as any other relationship like that. It's a business interaction. I'm seeking your information because you went to school for this, but I'm also going to do my own research and make my own decision because this is my body. After you see me, you're going to go see 100 other people, and if I die, it's going to be like, damn, that dude died. Oh, okay, I still have to go home.
Business continues.
My life has changed. Mm-hmm. They do not care about you the way you care about you, which is perfectly fine. No job and no person is ever going to care for you the way you care for you. So you need to start researching this. You only have one body. Like, it's that simple. It's not an attack on doctors. It's not saying we know more than doctors.
Yep.
It's to say, like, they may not know, they don't know everything. It's like in your field, if somebody comes to you and asks you a certain law question, you may not know the answer. You don't know everything under the sun.
Yeah,
you might be able to find the answer easier than them, but you don't know everything. Anybody asks me something about fire, real estate, like any of those things, and it's like, I know a certain amount of things, but I don't know everything. No one knows everything. I
mean, I always laugh because people see me on the street and they'll be like, can I park here? Man, I have no idea. I'm going to get a ticket just like you.
Right?
Who knows? You know, We look at people in those professions and we think it's the
Expert.
end all be all expert, and they are extremely knowledgeable. But like you said, there is a lot of money in the industry that is not talked about. It's a lot of money into the placement of where these snacks and foods are on the shelf of the grocery stores that you go to.
Which is
it's
crazy.
money in that, millions, that they know you're going to walk in, and wherever the wall is, you are going to go closest to the wall. And then from there, you are most likely going to go into X aisle and Y aisle. And once you go in those Y aisles, you're going to look on what shelf and that shelf and this. It's money. And I think people need to understand that. They've probably put more money into understanding your thought process than you've put into understanding your own thought process.
Well, it's like social media. Like, if you're not paying for it, that's because you are the product. Like,
Yeah.
they're trying to sell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
People don't even talk about that freaking algorithm, man.
Well, not
Yeah.
even that, but like, look at TV. 80% of the ads are paid for by pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, I think that's
We're
crazy.
one of the only countries that allows pharmaceutical products to be advertised on TV. Like, look, I believe in America. I support it. I have a flag here. I like the flag. Like, I love being American. It's a great country. People are dying to come here
Yep.
for what we have. But we also have problems.
Mm-hmm.
We know we have problems. And one of the biggest ones is money fucking talks.
Yeah.
And it's talking very loudly in your food, your health, and well-being. The bodies hasn't been figured out yet, I don't think. In this, because there's a study to contradict every study. There's new blood panels coming out talking about different hormones, different things in your body that do different things. You have to figure out what works best for you, because everything's going to change in a few years, probably.
Absolutely, man. And guess what? When it does change, and they then start to identify the carcinogens and everything else in the food, they're gonna go, "Whoops,
Yes.
sorry, my
It's
bad."
going to be a blip that pops up, and then it's going to pop back down.
Yep, and that's gonna be it. So yeah, I think when you talk about everything, you're 100% right. You have to do your own research. You have to live for yourself, which goes back to the beginning. Having that pride in yourself, live for yourself, and for those that you love and that are involved in your life, right? Because we have pride in ourselves, therefore we have pride in our family, and we're gonna make sure that they are taught the proper stuff and knowledgeable about things they need to be knowledgeable in. So
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to live in search of pride over happiness. It's going to be hard, but you will not be disappointed in yourself at the end of the day. You will not be disappointed if you end up with a sickness, a disease, an injury. If you live in search of pride over happiness, you will be proud.
I think so. I think, not saying it's easy, but you know for sure that you will be happier with yourself. 100%. I fully agree.
Yeah, live proud, be bold, stand strong in your convictions, and life will be great.
I'm with you, man.
Let us know. Are you going to live in search of pride now? Or are you going to go and search for happiness and have that pizza tonight? Let us know. If you do, leave a link below of the pizza.